Hey, Truth Seekers, welcome back. Zach here. Last night, we got the headlines about the shooting in Texas. All the headlines paralleled it to the Charlie Hebdo shooting in Paris from earlier this year. I was looking for the names of the shooters all over last night and I couldn't find them, but I said, watch, when they release the names, it's going to be a 33 name. And what's the shooter's name? His name is Elton Simpson. And Simpson, of course, is a name with 33 gematria. If you use S exceptions on Simpson, it becomes 51, like the word conspiracy. But, I mean, I just have to ask, who is buying this shit? Did you read the story, Truth Seeker? Why the fuck is anyone having a contest about who can make fun of Islam the most through cartoons? If you read the story is that there was this contest. Whoever drew the funniest comic was going to make $10,000. And because they were anticipating a security threat, they had a lot of police and extra security for the event. So just think about it on a surface level. Assuming any of this is true, why as a nation are we having events that security and police think will provoke? And don't say it's for freedom of speech. There's no freedom of speech in this country. You're listening to the voice of someone who's been speaking out the entire post 9/11 era, and all any fucking retarded American can say is, why don't you move to a different country then? Why don't you move to a different country then? Nobody respects freedom of speech here. What people respect is ignorance, idiocy, apathy. The qualities that you would say are pathetic is what's respected in America. This is a nation of cowards, morons, and losers. Not all of us, but almost all of us. That's why I don't have any problem saying it. I mean, most people who watch this channel and seek truth, I'm not talking about you, but you're a very you're a very small minority. I mean, look at the content I've been putting on the web for almost a year now, explaining how this stuff goes on and on and on and just keeps repeating. And what do I have? I don't even have 3,000 subscribers. That's like not even a big high school in a suburb. You know, this is a nation of 300 million. And somehow, the most clear truth probably ever put out in the history of this nation has hardly reached 3,000 people in a year's time. That's pathetic. You know, I'm sad for my own research, even though it's so spot on. But let's just look at this shit. It just annoys me. You know what? I wish I knew this event was happening. I would have flown down to it and shot everybody too. Anybody who seriously showed up to this event's a fucking loser. I wish ISIS was a real thing. I wish people really did die at this event. I wish all of them died. Because anybody who was there in sincerity is a goddamn loser. Case closed. Look at where this thing was taking place at. The Curtis Colwell Center, the CCC. What's the CCC? The 333? They didn't give us any names last night, so I wanted to see how far it was from the Charlie Hebdo shooting in days. It went from January 7th to May 3rd, a span of exactly 116 days. What happens when you flip the number 116 upside down? You get 911. Both numbers that they love to code in all their hoaxes. And for those of you who still haven't figured out, September 11th was a hoax. There were no planes that day. You saw computer graphic images on a mainstream media that every day tells you to go fuck your life. Just like this story. If you don't think that's what they're telling you, it's just because you don't know how to read between the lines. Your life has no meaning, truth seeker. Not to these people. You're just their amusement. You're their money-making tool. Oh, truth seeker. The location, Garland, Texas, has this gematria of 126. That's the sum of the alphabet in Pythagorean gematria. The location, Garland, Texas, has gematria of 45 and 54 with the S exception. Notice that today is May 4th. This story made headlines on 5/4 Universal Time, late 5/3 May 3rd, local time. Curtis Colwell Center has the gematria of 81 and 90 with the S exception. 90 and 16 are the only two numbers with 33 gematria. And last night they just kept using the phrase Muhammad and gunman. 74, 74. So much 74 coding in religion. Again, the shooter's name, well, there's two shooters. They've only released the name of one, Elton Simpson. Notice the name Elton has a gematria of 21, and in numerology, 21 is 2 plus 1 equals 3, and Simpson has the gematria of 33. You don't have to break down multiples of 11, so the name becomes 333, a lot like CCC Curtis Colwell Center. Stuff's always coded together. His full name gematria, Elton Simpson, sums to 54, just like Garland, Texas. Remember, I've been talking a lot about the number 54 lately, too. It's heating up. Obama's going to turn 54 this year. The word love equals 54. The word sun, like the sun in the sky, the one that gives us heat. Loretta Lynch, her name sums to 54. Just a big joke, Truth Seeker. A big coded joke. And if you read the article, one of his minions tweeted out Allahu Akbar on Twitter. Something that they love to say. Remember, that's part of the post 9/11 conditioning. Every time they show us this footage on TV of people blowing up stuff in the Middle East, they have some guy in the background yelling out Allahu Akbar, which in truth is probably some white asshole in the CIA or something else making these videos and giggling to himself. Thinking, God damn, what a dumb country I live in. I can't believe the fucking retards keep falling for this shit. Allahu Akbar, coded phrase. Allu's 55 simple English, Akbar's 33. Put it together, 88. Let's watch some mainstream coverage on this. See if any of this looks believable. I haven't even seen it myself yet.
To buy a barrier, a police car that was stopped outside to keep them from getting in. Talk to me about the security that you saw.
Yeah, so the security was really extensive. There were 2 checkpoints that I went through just to get into the parking lot. Then I went through a metal detector to get into the building. And so that was actually one of the reasons why once we were asked to go into the conference room and the door.
This guy, Randy Potts. First of all, it doesn't even look like a real name, does it? Old Randy Potts. It sums to 44, Truth Seeker, and here's a story about killing. 44, the kill number.
Doors were closed. There wasn't as much panic as you might have expected. We all knew that no one could probably get within, say, 50 yards of the building, and so we didn't feel like there was an imminent threat to our safety that instant, at least.
What a story from Randy.
Law enforcement officials here in the Dallas
Oh my God.
Garland, Texas, say.
So Truth Seeker, I have a video post on this guy right here, Ed Lavandera. This name sums to 33, Lavandera. He showed up as a new person for CNN in Ferguson, Missouri. That's where he got his debut. Every hoax that CNN's carried since, and there's been a lot, Ed Lavandera's been on the scene. This is what they do. They send these dumb, shameless people. I mean, look at Ed Lavandera. Look at this guy. Shameless. They send him to all the hoaxes to give us the bullshit. Here we go.
That the shooting erupted just about 10 minutes before the Mohammed art exhibit and cartoon contest was supposed to be wrapping up. It's not exactly known if the organizers of this event were the ones that were being targeted.
Doesn't that remind you of the Boston Marathon bombing? They did it at the end, probably when the majority of the people are gone. Easier to cover up the hoax this way.
But that is clearly the suspicion that law enforcement is operating under. This is an event that had been in the works for some time and had gotten a great deal of publicity. And because of that, there was also a great deal of law enforcement present surrounding this event. In fact, we were told in the back of the building there was a SWAT team on standby just in case anything violent like this was to erupt. But we're told by law enforcement officials that the whole event lasted, or the whole shooting took place and lasted about 15 seconds, that there were 2 men who drove up.
Holy shit, the whole shooting happened in 15 seconds. There it is, CCC. Truth Seeker, read the mayor's statements about what happened. The mayor's statements is 2 armed gunmen came out, a police officer shot and killed one immediately, then shot the other one who fell to the ground, and then when he reached for his backpack, he shot and killed him too. Sounds like a scene out of an action movie. For some reason, I get visuals of Steven Seagal in Under Siege or some shit like that. Just hoaxalicious. I mean, the whole thing happened in 15 seconds? Obviously, it wasn't the same cop that shot Walter Scott in the back, right? Remember that cop? He unloaded the whole clip from 20 feet away. Walter Scott didn't even budge an inch, then all of a sudden just randomly fell down. Then he moved all over, moved his head left to right, moved his arms around, no blood on his clothes, and we get a story in the media that he was killed. Notice they buried that story, though, with the Freddie Gray story. That's what they do. All these stories are just so easy to see through, so they shovel them through and then bury them. Shovel them through and bury them. The average mainstream American doesn't even hear it with their own eyes or ears. They just hear it through the hearsay of the people who watch the news. You know? This is how they maintain the idiocy in this nation.
To the Civic Center here in Garland, Texas, in a dark-colored sedan, jumped out, started shooting. They were able to wound a Garland Independent School District officer. That officer has been treated and released from the hospital. He will be okay, but that those two suspects were then quickly gunned down there in the parking lot of the Civic Center here in Garland, Texas. Law enforcement officials say they do not know the identities of these suspects, but obviously FBI investigators are on the scene, beginning the process of trying to figure out what the motive here was. But this was an event highly controversial. The organizers of this event describe it as a free speech event, but those critics of the...
I mean, look at these fucking retards. Who's proud of the American flag in the year 2015? That flag was established June 14th, 1777, a date with 33 numerology. It's the flag of hate. It's the flag of division. It's a flag that only fucking retards are proud of. Here we go.
These organizers, which also included a keynote speech by a right-wing Dutch politician who has been on the target list of...
So they had this guy here. This is just more connections to the Charlie Hebdo shooting. What a joke.
Islamic groups around the world, they say that this was nothing more than a anti-Islam event. So a great deal of controversy surrounding all of this, and what many law enforcement officials here in Garland had worried about has taken place.
Do you know who shows up to anti-Islam events? Fucking retards. Okay, I can't watch any more of this news coverage. Again, Truth Seeker, hope you're learning something here. I hope you can deal with all my cussing, but this story just pisses me off. I'm so sick of just seeing this shit and realizing I live in a country where 9 out of 10 people aren't ever going to get it. Maybe the reduced fluoride levels from last Monday will help, but I'm not holding my fingers. Something else, Truth Seeker. See if there's anything else to see here. Oh yeah, they revealed the royal baby's name. I predicted that the name would be Charlotte days ago, and I wrote exactly why, because everything about that day that the baby was born on was coded with numerology, and there was a lot of 67 connections that day, including the boxing fight. This whole thing's synced up. We live in a big web. Royal babies, boxing fights, news. Somehow, the people who are controlling this, they sync it up with the same numerology. If I had to throw a theory out there, it might be because of like planetary alignment, some shit like this. Something I don't know about for how they choose the numbers for the day. There's some piece that I don't get, but I see how they're connecting it all together. And if you haven't seen my videos on Charlie Hebdo, they're pretty good. You should check those out. They're episode 239 and 241. All right, Truth Seeker, until next time.